The matcha bowl is the focal point of the Japanese tea ceremony. But how much do you actually know about it? In this episode, we're going to teach you everything about the matcha bowl. We'll show you how it's carefully designed to be the perfect tool for preparing matcha and different styles of chawan that exist, inspired by Chinese, Korean, and Japanese artisans. This video is an excerpt from our book Matcha Masterclass, a 140-page guide on all things matcha. If you've ever wanted to learn about how matcha is made, the history of matcha, or the health benefits of matcha, you can get a free copy when you sign up using the link below. Although it's very simplistically designed, the Chawan matcha bowl has a few great features that make matcha preparation easier and more enjoyable. Matcha bowls are usually made out of clay, but it's not uncommon to see a ceramic matcha bowl as well. These Japanese matcha bowls are made out of thick material, which means that they're really good at absorbing heat. If the matcha bowl is cool, it will quickly make your matcha cold and less enjoyable to drink. Instead, you can pour some hot water into the matcha bowl until it's about halfway filled and leave it for about a minute. This will allow the heavy matcha bowl to absorb the heat, and it should even be warm to the touch on the outside. Benefits of matcha bowls. These simple matcha bowls actually have a few key features to them. First, the shape of the Japanese matcha bowl is more cylindrical compared to a regular bowl. This maximizes the space around the base of the bowl, so you have more room for whisking motions. The extra space is particularly useful if you're just starting out, because it will be difficult to master these more refined movements until you have a few hundred bowls of matcha tea under your belt. The bowl also features steeper sides to prevent spilling. Finally, the bowls tend to feature a pattern on one side. This pattern serves an important role during the tea ceremony. The guest is expected to turn the matcha bowl towards the other guests so they can look at the most beautiful side of the bowl as the guest drinks. This conveys respect, which is one of the core principles of the tea ceremony. The bowls are typically handmade using high-quality clay. The most famous regions for this clay are Mashiko, Mino, Tokoname, and Shigaraki. The heavy clay used to make the matcha bowls conveys a sense of importance. It forces you to use two hands and really focus on the tea drinking experience. Now that we've explained the basic structure of the tea bowls, let's talk about the different styles. First, we have Chinese-inspired bowls. When tea first arrived in Japan, so too did Chinese tea bowls, known as karamano or tong objects. These were highly prized and imitated by Japanese potters. Tenmoku is the most iconic style, deep and conical, with a small foot. These bowls are famous for their mesmerizing dark glazes. Though originally from China's Song dynasty, the Tenmoku style became central to formal Japanese tea ceremonies. Another admired style is celadon, smooth bowls with pale blue-green glaze, known for their serene beauty. Blue and white Sometsuki porcelain also came from China, but was less common for matcha use due to its refined look, which clashed with Japan's growing preference for earthy simplicity. Korean-influenced bowls. Japanese tea aesthetics began to take a major turn during the 15th and 16th centuries with the adoption of Korean peasant bowls. These rougher, more organic pieces, often not originally made for tea, resonated with the Japanese ideal of wabi-sabi, or seeing the beauty in imperfection. The most celebrated is the Aido Chawan, thick and slightly uneven, with a tall foot and soft beige glaze. These were originally everyday rice bowls in Korea, but they became symbols of rustic elegance in Japan. Japanese-made bowls. By the late 1500s, Japanese artisans began creating their own chawan. These reflected the values of the tea ceremony: subtlety, imperfection, and individuality. The key styles include raku, shino, which was Japan's first white glaze, oribe, hagi, and karatsu. You may notice that these chawan come in different shapes as well. Some of the most common shapes are tsutsugata, which is cylinder, han tsutsugata, which is half cylinder, wan nari, which is rounded like a wooden bowl, and kutsugata, which is intentionally distorted, lopsided shapes which are loved for their individuality. What's your favorite matcha bowl so far? If you go to neoteas.com, you can actually build your own customizable matcha set, with many different options for chawan. These matcha bowls differ based on shape, color, and glaze style. Go ahead and choose the one that fits your own unique style best. Now let's talk about glazing effects. Every chawan tells a story, not only through its shape, but also through its colors, textures, and surface patterns. These effects are created using a variety of materials and traditional techniques, some precise, others spontaneous. Here's a quick overview of how they come to life. Glaze effects. The glaze is the glossy coating on the bowl's surface that brings color and texture. Here are some common effects. Yuteki, oil spot. Yohen, celestial or iridescent. Hiro, fire marks. Koge, scorch marks. Shino, orange skin. Then we have slip decoration. Slip is a liquid clay applied before glazing to create a unique finish. Different methods include hakime, kohiki, mishima. Finally, we have natural variation. Some of the most beautiful effects aren't painted or planned, they come from nature and the kiln itself. When we were traveling around Yakushima Island meeting with tea farmers, we also met with a famous Japanese potter who lived out in the woods. He would often go to the beach to collect coral to use as a natural glaze. This just gives you an idea of how many tools a potter has at his disposal. The first effect we have is crazing. Find cracks that appear in the glaze as the piece cools. These grow more beautiful as the piece is used and tea darkens the lines. Color variation. Changes in kiln atmosphere or clay composition can result in gradients of color, giving each bowl a unique finish. Spots and blushing. Sometimes minerals in the clay or glaze react unpredictably to heat, forming natural patterns like pink spots or plum blossom textures. Being mindful of the material itself and the crafting of the chawan can help you tune out the external noise and focus on being present. This is critical during both the Japanese tea ceremony as well as your own matcha ceremonies you create at home. If you want to take your matcha experience to the next level, you can pick up a customizable matcha set at neoteas.com. You can choose from many different styles of matcha bowl as well as choose your favorite ceremonial matcha powder. After traveling around Japan for the past few years, we've met with dozens of farmers and sampled hundreds of different matcha teas. We've ultimately selected a small handful of our favorites, and we're so happy to share them with all of you, with free shipping options worldwide. In the next video, we'll be talking about the matcha spoon, but if you don't want to wait that long, you can get the full book for free when you sign up using the link below. Until then, we'll see you next time.